The decision to grant former President Jacob Zuma medical parole will be contested in the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein this morning. The Department of Correctional Services is expected to defend its decision to release Zuma from the Estcourt prison. You'll remember he was sentenced to 15 months in jail after defying a constitutional court order to appear before the state capture inquiry. Let's take you there live now to our reporter, our senior politics reporter, Ziyanda Ngcobo, joins us from in front of the Supreme Court of Appeal. Obviously still very dark and very cold there this morning, Ziyanda. But what can we expect?
Very cold indeed it is, Michelle, at -2 degrees. But I tell you what, things are expected to heat up in this courtroom later today. And two critical issues here, Michelle, that I think will be of interest. The first thing is that the Helen Suzman Foundation, which has joined several parties, including the DA and AfriForum, when taking the matter to court, they've requested that the time that former President Jacob Zuma has spent out on medical parole not be counted as a part of the 15-month jail term sentence. And the second thing is the issue that was raised by AfriForum in court proceedings when this matter was in the North Gauteng High Court sitting in Pretoria, was that they believe that it should be the Medical Parole Advisory Board that has the final say over the granting of medical parole, as opposed to the Correctional Services Commissioner, because you'll recall that the then Correctional Services Commissioner, Arthur Fraser, argued that he is empowered, according to the Correctional Services Act, to have actually trumped or gone against the decision of the board to grant former President Jacob Zuma medical parole. And this is basically the nub of what is going to be contested in court today.
Ziyanda, would you say it's fair to say there are sort of two issues at play here? What you've just outlined about who has the final say insofar as medical parole is concerned. Should it be the Commissioner? Should it be the Medical Parole Board? And then second to that, would it mean, if the decision is overturned, that the former President would go back to jail to complete his term?
So you recall, Michelle, that the former president, when he was released, he'd only spent 2 months in the Estcourt correctional facility, and even still, he was in the medical wing of that jail. And if, for instance, the matter is still upheld, which means that he should not have been granted medical parole, it could see the former president having to go back to Estcourt correctional facility. But there is this small issue, well, maybe not small, Michelle, actually, but there is this matter of, well, in the act itself, for those who are serving less than 24 months or whose jail term is less than 24 months, they qualify for normal parole once having served a third of that sentence. So it would mean then the former president, give or take, would have to go back and spend another month in the Estcourt correctional facility if this court upholds the previous court decisions. And you'll know that the DA is also forming part of the proceedings here today. They want the matter to have the decision to be declared unlawful and irrational, because they believe that Arthur Fraser, through his relationship with former President Jacob Zuma, was doing him a favor by granting him that medical parole, and that this also goes against the principle of the rule of law, and that we are all equal before the law.
Very interesting indeed. You'll keep us up to speed as that case proceeds. Ziyanda Ngcobo, live to us there in front of the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein.